Welcome back to the news at 10. Since the industrial action embarked on by organized labor in Plateau State over 3 weeks ago, the State Environmental Disposal Unit has stopped removing refuse, which has left heaps of waste in the city center and its environs. Refuse dumps in different locations of Jos, the Plateau State capital, have become a source of worry as citizens face the risk of becoming exposed to several health hazards. Our community report tonight looks at the refuse situation in Jos and its health implications.
Now you're talking.
Jos, the capital of Plateau State, is reputed to be one of the most attractive places to visit in Nigeria because of its breathtaking landscape. That is until you take a drive through the Jos Main Market, Ahmadu Bello Way, Old Bukuru Park, Yan Shanu, and Murtala Muhammad Way, where you will be welcomed by a sight and smell that will literally stop your breath. What is most shocking is that residents now appear to have accepted its presence, moving about as though all is well. So what do they have to say for themselves?
It has to do with the state government, because people has been complaining 2 days ago, 3 days. It's almost a week now. They have been complaining bitterly because this thing has become a problem now to health. So many people have been complaining.
This refuse is driving away customers. When they come to do patronage, when they come to buy things from us, because of the smells here and there they go. And apart from that, it's not hygienic. So I am calling on government to come and help us.
Another appalling development is the sight of scavengers, mostly children, rummaging through the heaps, hoping to find treasure in the midst of rubbish. Suffice to say, the health challenges this poses are numerous, and these medical experts spell out the dangers.
Apart from the fact that it's unsightly, as far as an ISO, which, affects the psychology of people and the mental state of people, and the odor, it generates, it's very offensive. And once it's offensive, the air is polluted, the environment is polluted, so it creates a lot of health implications for the people living around that area.
There's likely to be respiratory tract infection, pneumonia, bronchitis, and more importantly, because of the smell and the deaths that are there, a lot of germs. And many people who are in that environment are more prone to gastroenteritis, diarrhea diseases. And for the past 3 weeks now, we have been seeing an increase in the incidence of diarrhea diseases, a cholera-like infection in which you may need to give them a lot of intravenous fluid before they can be resuscitated.
So what does the government of Simon Lalong have up its sleeves in ridding the metropolis of this menace?
We have prepared a budget where we're waiting for approval, and we're hoping that as soon as funds are released to us, work will start, because we know the dangers in town. We have been informed that over 70 people are already admitted in various hospitals related to cholera disease, and we think it's a very serious problem that everyone should be concerned about, because cholera is very deadly and people can easily be killed by it.
Valiant words promising action, but what is expected is urgent and proper disposal of the refuse and for residents to imbibe the culture of good sanitation.
Now you're talking.
Well, moving over to business news, Adeshawa Josh joins us shortly.
First Bank. You first.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshawa Josh. Over 469,000 jobs were created in the first quarter of the year, 26.95% more than the number of jobs created in the last quarter of 2014. Now, latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows 130,941 new jobs were created in the formal sector, 7,085 jobs less than what was generated in the fourth quarter of 2014. The agency attributed the declining availability of formal sector jobs to unsuccessful job seekers, establishing micro businesses and engaging in more informal, lower-skilled jobs. 5,726 jobs were created in the public sector, representing 1.2% of the total jobs generated during the period under review. Nigeria's foremost non-interest financial institution, Jaiz Bank PLC, has declared a profit before tax of 157,000, that's 157 million naira for the year 2014. The chairman of the bank, Dr. Umaru Mutalab, who spoke at the third annual general meeting of the bank in Abuja, attributed the feat to the bank's continued revenue growth and disciplined cost management. Dr. Mutalab also said that the bank's asset grew to 42 billion naira in 2014, up from 33 billion naira recorded in 2013.
It's the third annual general meeting of the Jaiz Bank, the nation's #1 non-interest financial institution, and the forum brought shareholders across the country to discuss the way forward for the bank in the years ahead. The chairman of the bank came with cheering news to the gathering as he announced a profit before tax of 157 million naira. He is optimistic that the central bank will grant its appeal for operation as a national bank in no distant time following this success.
We hope to expand to many more financial and industrial centers of this country, particularly the Lagos, Port Harcourt, Axis, Ibadan, because at the moment we are not there. We are only in the northern states of northwest and and northeast. But as soon as we get a national license, that will give us the license to operate in all the different parts of the country. And with more branches, you generate more deposits and also more business.
Jaiz Bank is also exploring how to key into modern banking techniques, which will help it achieve more of this feat.
We are planning, actually, we hope to declare dividend by end of 2016 operation. That is our planning, and we are praying to Almighty so that she can enable us to achieve that target. That is our target. By 2017 AGM, we like to declare a small amount of. And by the way, I would like to reiterate that this is unprecedented in the whole history of financial industry.
Some of the shareholders gave their impression of the bank.
What we find here is a good thing that has taken place in Nigeria, and they should be encouraged. Christians should put their money here. Don't you see how the administrative costs, for instance? Which bank will ever tell you what and what they have spent that money for?
I think they will do well. Let's see in the next 2-3 years. I'm really very, sure.
With over 15 branches spread across the northeast and northwestern parts of the country, the management of the bank promised to spread its branches to other parts of the country to meet up with international best practices.
Now, more than 1,500 participants from government, financial investors, power technology providers, and developers are attending this year's edition of the Africa Energy Forum in Dubai. And Channels TV Business News editor Bosin Amofaye is in Dubai for the forum, and he joins me now via Skype. Now, hello, Bosin.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us on the News at 10. You've been attending the conference all day. Give us the highlight of today's discussion.
Of course, this is a very comprehensive conference covering various aspects of power sector, utilities, infrastructure, funding, investment, and the regulatory aspects, and of course different sessions being held in different parts of the facility. And you have different countries in Africa specifically focused to discuss power challenges in different parts of Africa. And of course, for a few other countries from Canada, the Chinese, the Obama's Power Project, Power in Africa, as well as a few other issues relating to bringing power to the people in Africa. So quite comprehensive. And now we're in the third day is about 1:45 a.m. here in Dubai. So in a few hours, we will get the third and the final day started.
Absolutely, Bosing. Thank you so much for staying up this late to be able to speak to us on what transpired at the Africa Energy Forum. We will definitely check up on you much later. Thank you so much. Bosing Amofaye there for us in Dubai. He spoke to us about the focus of the Energy Africa Forum, which is on power challenges in different parts of Africa. Let's move into other stories or the bulletin now. The challenges confronting Nigeria's real estate sector are surmountable, but it requires the will to implement the available solutions. This is the message from the Lekki Gardens 2015 Investment Forum, where investors and operators gathered to fine-tune plans for the growth of the industry.
With real estate evolving into a global standard practice in Nigeria, the need to address some of the sectoral challenges is rising. At this investment forum organized by Lekki Gardens, some of the challenges faced by operators are laid bare.
Allocations to real estate by institutional investors has always been very low. And the challenge became, how do institutional and retail investors access the growing opportunities in the residential real estate market?
It was calculated by the World Bank that 17 million unit housing was needed, and about investment of about 60 trillion will be required. But at what point was the 17 billion calculated? It was based on the population of 140. So now we are 170. Could we still talk about 17 million? Is it more? Is it less?
There are challenges. Regulatory challenges in terms of the Land Use Act, property registration, contract enforcement, financial sector challenges in terms of high interest rates and the high cost of financing, and again, sustainable credit delivery. The solutions are quite clear. Sometimes they are quite obvious. It is the will to deal with them.
Land titling constitutes a major challenge, and some of these panelists believe that land swapping is a viable alternative.
It's a working model. It requires some modification maybe in some area, like I've always told them. Now, so when they started with a gradual government public sector idea, but now it's moderated, and I think it's working well.
We are working, as we speak, with 20 financial institutions, and so we are already laying the foundations for a sustainable development and a sustainable growth. Just put in context, demography is a key source of strength for Nigeria.
Analysts here say 80% of real estate funding in Nigeria comes from foreign portfolio. But the chief executive of Lekki Gardens, Richard Young, believes the domestic markets can provide the necessary funds.
You do not appreciate an opportunity that you can't do three things with. We saw the opportunity, the profit patterns. The next thing we did was we tried to understand how we could participate. And the third thing we did was we developed the capacity to execute.
Nigeria's housing deficit is put at about 16 million per annum, and Lekki Gardens residential real estate plans to crush this figure.
Now let's check out the closing figures from the Nigerian Stock Exchange with Temple Ashaju.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Reports. The bearish run in the Nigerian equities markets closed midweek trading in the southwards territory as the performance of banking and industrial stocks contributed to the market's volatility. The all-share index slipped by 0.09% to close at 33,462.34 points with a reduced market capitalization of 11.42 trillion naira. Now, Forte Oil leads the gainers chart with 14 naira 63 kobo gains, followed by PZ, which appreciated by 1 naira 53 kobo, as Nestle came up with its share price of 1 naira. Now, on the decliners table, Better Glass lost 2 naira 10 kobo. Stanbic IBTC ticked 1 naira, while Zenith Bank slipped by 64 kobo in its value. Now, UBA tops the volume chart with over 144 million units of shares, while Multiverse and Cornerstone Insurance added some boost to the session. At the close of trading, a total of 590 million shares valued at 4.1 billion naira were traded in 3,863 deals. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Temple Ashaju.
Thanks a lot, Temple. That'll be all on Business News tonight. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
First Bank. You first.
Next on the news at 10, Nigeria's quest to win the FIFA Under-20 Championship continues as the Flying Eagles lock horns with Germany in the second round. And that will be on sports. To stay with us.